And welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff Show. My name is Dan, and with me this week, Nick and Marty. What's up, guys?
How are we doing, everybody? You'll
Good.
soon find out that Nick has still not addressed the smoke detector in his house.
It's not a smoke detector. That is my phone.
No, that thing's been beeping since the Get Out review. I know it's like 2 months ago.
Smoke a frog. I got a brand new one.
I'm here every time we are on the show. We hear beeping.
That's right. See, it's ruled me out because I don't have a smoke detector in my basement. I removed it.
It was either 1 or 2, and it didn't beep last show. So, saying, fires are dangerous, Nick.
Fires are terrible. We learned that from G.I. Joe, right?
And look at our new. We got new technology this week, as everybody can see.
It's amazing.
Oh,
Marty bought some chalk.
No, my wife made this lovely thing in some kind of female art thing class where they go and drink the wine and stuff.
Oh.
And we write the chalk on there.
Sip and paint.
Okay. You got to move it over. Now it's not. Now it says now hoeing.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's for later.
Other way. A little bit more. Georgia. There you go. Got it. Blue chips. Blue chips actually sounds like the blue corn tortilla chips. Like I would eat some blue chips right now with some salsa. Not gonna lie. If there's some guac, have a little party. There's blue chips.
I would definitely do some blue chips.
Well, if I can jump ahead for a second and talk about one of our little stuff topics, it does relate because the Roseanne show came back on today.
Okay.
And you know how they always used to eat some kind of Chinese food or pizza at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're eating Mexican food, so they're all eating the guac and the chips.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, listen.
Wait, how do they explain Dan being alive?
It was all part of that, her writing nonsense stuff.
Okay, I'm done.
Well, and after it was just an hour of hackneyed fucking.
Are they just getting taco bowls from Trump Tower though?
Well, yeah, the first episode was all about how she voted for Trump and Jackie voted for Hillary, and there's a bunch of. The episode would have worked a lot better maybe 8 months ago. And then I had forgotten how lame it is to watch a show that's taped in front of a live studio audience. Because I guess I haven't done that sometime.
Well, yeah, that's rare.
Every other line is the fucking laugh track nonsense. It's just like, oh god.
And yes, Robert Melee, we started on time, by the way.
We've been good lately.
Pretty good.
He hasn't been on time lately. So.
Hey, yeah, he's been here. So yeah, Roseanne, you watch some of it?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's just kind of, hey, we're old now, and we take pills, and Arlene's got a gay son, maybe, and the other one's DJ's got a black daughter from something, and we don't,
Oh, Abe's saying that you could use a laugh track.
Abe should have been on this show, actually.
I know, I tried to get him on.
We're talking mid-90s basketball and gambling, and those are the two things he really majored in college.
He's living in the wilderness now. He's got for him to type that message, Marty. You can use a laugh track. You don't even want to know the type of technology he's holding a satellite dish on a stick and holding it in the air just so he can send that one message. You don't want to know the type of things that he has to go through to watch porn nowadays. It's he's got floppy disks. Like honestly, he had to bring floppy disks to Canada for him to It's funny, I was talking to him about that. The innocent days of like the 90s AOL, right? The dial up, and it's like people just like emailing porn around. It's like, here, look at some boobs, and just in an email. And nowadays, like, here, look at these boobs. Like, this is a fucking virus. You're gonna infect my goddamn computer, you sons of bitches.
Remember how long it took you to get that fucking picture, though?
Oh, it took like ages.
Hey, it was still worth it, though.
Yeah, right.
It was. It took you 2 hours to get catfished.
Kids don't know anymore what it's like.
No.
It's all too easy for them.
Oh, it was a struggle. It's too available now. That's why they're all weirdos now. It's like, we used to have to fight. Like you have to go deal. Like, you take the cable out of the cable box, plug it right into the TV, and try to get the squiggly line. It's like, oh, that's a boob. I like it. I want it. And then now
it's actually an elbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy's elbow.
Didn't even matter.
Well, I was looking. I was one of those kids that had the descramblers. Like my parents had the descramble boxes. Like,
we didn't get one till like 2 years before you couldn't get them anymore.
oh, man,
like
I
the
remember
digital
watching
cable took over.
Pulp Fiction non-fucking stop when it was like it was a pay-per-view and it was like, fuck you, I'm watching Pulp Fiction for free.
That really was the worst part of digital cable. When you couldn't just plug in a TV and get some kind of scrambled, I used to listen to like the old pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to Holyfield Tyson 1. Like completely scrambled. It was like old-timey radio, You just listen to the fights on the radio.
That's amazing. Man, that ear-biting thing must have been pretty sensational.
Oh, yeah. It was hard to figure out what was going on there.
I had a friend whose dad had one, and those things are like $400 at one point.
Oh.
And then eBay popped up, and the first one that we had in the house, we got for like $60 off eBay.
Yeah.
And then it was pay-per-view heaven, watching all the WWE stuff.
Yeah. So you millennials, you the little kids, you got it way too easy nowadays.
Too easy.
Back in my day.
You just go on
Your phone.
Twitter, and someone someone buys a pay-per-view and just films it with their phone. You can watch it that way.
You can watch it on Periscope.
That's what it is. Periscope. That's what it is.
I watched Conor McGregor Mayweather on Periscope.
Anything I want to watch, but I know I don't care enough to buy, like mostly UFC shit, I'll watch on Periscope.
Yeah, I don't watch that shit.
I saw Ronda Rousey get knocked out on Periscope. It was pretty fun.
I like the people that are just clever. I think I mentioned it on the show before. It's like pretending like they're playing a video game, and it's actually the fight on the TV. They have it in a frame of a video game.
I love watching those things, and there'll be people, like, you see the comments, and people will bitch, like, oh, can you turn up the volume? Can you move the seat to this way? It's like, what?
No, stop it.
Like, I'm not complaining. I'm sitting there like, who cares? I don't even care. I try not to watch the fights with the sound on anyway.
Yeah.
Unless it's the British sound, because they're oddly...
They get really excited.
They're real true. But they're real truthful.
Oh yeah, sure. Look at this fat bastard.
Yeah.
I mean, but boxing is one of those sports that still plays well on the radio. Baseball plays very, very well on the radio still. I mean, depends on who your announcers are. But I love listening to Mets games on the radio. I can still listen to baseball on the radio. I think boxing plays very well on the radio still.
Anything without constant movement, you can still listen to. Because baseball, it's pretty much in place as it happens. Football,
that's very much on the announcer. Like, I could listen to Joe Buck and not watch Joe Buck, like, unless it's football. Joe Buck, you can't listen to Joe Buck on football. That just doesn't work for me. But baseball, that's Joe Buck all day.
Marty, you finished Brockmire, right?
I did watch.
How good was Joe Buck and Brockmire, though? Actually made you like him a little bit, right?
Like, you
made him like him just a little bit.
I don't mind Joe Buck. I mean, he goes on Howard Stern. He's kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah.
He tries a little too hard to be funny. It's just that his HBO show was just dreadful.
Yeah.
So was Bill Simmons.
So you started watching Roseanne. I started watching Barry. Did you guys see that? This new HBO show?
I didn't because there was so much else on Sunday now because Billions just came back on.
I don't watch Billions. Barry is the
Bill Hader. Bill Hader. He plays the assassin. Yeah. It's good. It's good show. Yeah.
I like Hader.
Recommend it. Me too. I like Bill Hader a lot. Yeah. Yeah, but the Silicon Valley started back up. I DVR'd that show Greed, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. I watched Billions and DVR'd Greed.
DVR'd Greed. That's an hour. That's an hour and a half episode too. So
I hate when everything comes on back. It's that same thing happens with Game of Thrones. Is ever on? It's like it's on the same time Sunday as 3 other shows, and the rest of the week there's fuck all to watch.
That's the rough part. I think I watched the first 15 minutes of the new Star Trek, and I was like, I can't watch this shit. The CGI, it was just so bad. It's like they filmed the whole show in somebody's like closet that they painted bright green. She's like, it's like, what the fuck am I watching? I was like, I'm not watching this shit. And then my girl started watching Krypton, and I'm like, there's no superpowers here. I'm not watching this shit either. Like, I don't want to watch a drama about aliens that look like humans and they're just acting like humans anyway. No, fuck that shit. I'm not watching that shit. I need superpowers in my superhero shit.
Hey, good segue. Speaking of superheroes and I guess superpowers, kind of. Deadpool trailers came out, right?
Today they brought out the, I guess, somewhat more suitable version.
Yeah.
Like they called it the Green Band as opposed to the Red Band trailer usually.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But it's the
Well, the
same.
one you could put on regular TV.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same
Right.
stuff though.
I'm underwhelmed, but I was underwhelmed from the original like trailers and stuff from the first one. I ended up liking the movie. I'm kind of underwhelmed by what I'm seeing so far. I'm hoping to be wrong.
I'm excited.
I just
It's like
wonder.
X-Force.
I wonder what it's going to be like to have Josh Brolin be, the villain in 2 straight comic book movies.
He's not really the villain though on Deadpool.
But,
they're playing it that way, but he's really not.
Yeah.
He's the villain in the way Terminator is the villain for a little while. I guess it was very Terminator-esque. It seemed like the trailer. Someone from the future is going to kill the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I think he's comic book wise. I think he's taking over a role that was in the comic book Bishop, right? I think.
No, he's Cable.
No, I know, but I think in the comic book Bishop travels back in time to kill a kid. I'm fairly certain that's the storyline that they're playing. Like Cable when he travels back in time was I think to save one of the Summers kids, one of his grandkids or something like that. I think that the going back in time to kill a kid it's like the Hitler thing, right? Go back and kill Hitler. I think it was Bishop in the comics that actually did it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's been a while. Like I mean, I read some X-Force. Because at the time, like I was reading like a lot of X-Men stuff was during the whole Executioner song, like, that whole thing, and that kind of spanned X-Force, X-Men, and another one of those X something. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this X-Force stuff is going to play out. You start seeing them introducing some new characters like Domino and
they're in an interesting spot though, because they're introducing characters, but they also got a character that breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So it makes all the introductions so much easier.
Yeah.
So you can literally just pop out screen like, oh, by the way, this is this asshole Cable, da 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 da, and then they could just keep going from there.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna have to waste a whole lot of screen time introducing all these people.
Sure.
But just be a couple scenes and then Deadpool say some shit. I'm kind of excited for it. Over under on the secret cameo being Hugh Jackman.
Oh, it's Hugh. No, the bigger question is if it's Hugh Jackman or is it Wolverine? I think it's just Hugh Jackman being.
I think it's straight up Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hugh Jackman just being himself, and there's like they'll throw some joke in there,
just for comedic purposes or something.
It would be funny if they had Hugh Jackman, but he couldn't talk. Like they just kind of sewed his lips together.
Oh, like
like Deadpool, like Ryan
Reynolds. There'll definitely be an origins joke in there somehow.
Yeah.
They threw a little one.
They nice chop your head off or some shit like that.
Well, the action figure. He had the action figure. Yeah, in the original one. Yeah. So
I don't know how long that joke is going to play with Deadpool because the original was fun and joke was everyone was in on the joke kind of deal. I don't know how long that can last in these movies.
I mean, the over the years that character has become more and more and more and more popular. It's people just love that character. So as long as people love the character, they'll keep making the movies. Yeah, it's like Ryan Reynolds was born to play this shit. Like I remember when I first watched Van Wilder, and then they announced that he was going to play Deadpool and Wolverine, and I was just like, that works because like Van Wilder breaks the fourth wall, and it's a similar type of crass humor. You're like, oh, I see this. You kind of find out it was his passion project or some shit.
By the way, for the kids at home that think I'm drinking water.
Oh God, no!
I'm not drinking water.
No.
Oh.
It's fancy gin.
Gin. Everyone, gin. For the old watchers of the show, you know what happens when Dan drinks gin. So this is gonna fucking devolve quickly.
Nick Nolte status coming soon.
That's right.
2 other notes on X-Men stuff since we're talking Deadpool. They moved back. We talked about this year would be 3 X-Men movies. Now it's just going to be 1 with Deadpool because they pushed Phoenix back to next year.
Fucking cares.
And they pushed back New Mutants a second time to sometime later next year.
Whatever.
Yeah, because originally it was earlier next year. Now it's later. They're just scrambling. They don't know what they want to do with it because now that they're changing over ownership and all this other
stuff. Did that actually go through though? I mean, is it still
pending?
What I read so far about it, they wanted to do reshoots for the Phoenix movie, But since they have people like Jennifer Lawrence and McAvoy and Fassbender, those people's schedules aren't as readily available.
Sure.
So they had to push that back, and then
plus Jennifer Lawrence had to grow that mustache that they have to CGI out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then New Mutants, they want to add a whole. They might just change that whole fucking movie to a horror movie. It seems like for next.
I think that was the original intention. Was the horror?
Yeah.
Movie.
So they're doing massive reshoots on that as well.
And they canceled the Deadpool cartoon before it even came out.
Huh.
Yeah, they were going to do one on FXX. I think Donald Glover was writing it. So, I think that's too much Deadpool. You can't have the movies and a show. It's too much, in my opinion.
Especially because like FXX has like Archer already, and it has some of the like it'd be kind of cannibalizing on some of the shows that are already there.
Guys, you know what I did watch over the weekend? Happy Death Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's Groundhog's Day with a horrible serial killer. It was the shittiest of serial killers. I'm sorry. It was almost obvious in the beginning, and it's like, is this mystical? Is it not? It was just pretty bad. The girl was kind of like a hotter Blake Lively. I guess that was the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
The trailer tells you the whole movie.
Trailer.
The trailer damn near plays the whole first day, and you keep seeing the day over and over again. So basically, if you saw the trailer, you saw the movie.
There you go.
So, that's always
Groundhog's Day only dying. Awesome. I guess Groundhog's Day you do die. I mean, and technically Happy Death Day would be like you can't die. Imagine that. It's just like I'm trying to die and I can't.
Well, the dumb shit is that neither movie explains why it kept happening.
Well,
it's not explaining.
Groundhog's Day kind of explains it.
Bill Murray had to become a better person.
Right.
It was a similar thing with the girl.
But they don't explain like the mechanics as to why it's happening.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like reincarnation, right? Only he's kind of have to, instead of coming back as something else, he's just got to relive.
Well, the dumb thing about this one is they just abandoned some shit. Like her body was affected of all the stuff, and they're like, we don't even know how you're alive, and then they just kind of drop it. And she dies that one day, and she's like, the following day, it's like, oh, you're fine. You didn't get stabbed. Nothing happened. Like the rules changed on the dime. It's like, yeah. I mean, if you got nothing better to watch.
Okay, nothing better to watch. We actually had something better to watch, I guess. We watched Blue Chips in celebration of. Is March Madness? Can we say it without getting sued? It's not like the big game in January or February, right? We can say March Madness.
Oh, you can say March Madness.
Yeah, I think you can say March Madness.
Okay.
Celebration. One entertainment isn't involved. I think we're already.
Celebration of March Madness and all the fucking shit that's been going on in college basketball this year, with. So shocker, players being paid. Oh my god. We had no fucking idea that players are fucking being paid.
Some of them get strippers delivered to them during recruiting.
That's a fair point. In fact, wasn't one of the coaches involved in this movie?
Yeah.
In Blue Chips?
Oh.
Patino, right?
Rick Patino was
Patino's right in the beginning of this movie as one of the coaches in it. You got him. You got Bobby Knight, who's had some allegations and some shit come up against him.
More behavioral issues than cheating issues.
Yeah. And then you got Shaq, who's trying to be a legit actor in it, and he gets out-acted by Penny Hardaway. Like Penny Hardaway, legitly out-acted Shaq in this movie, and don't even deny it. Like Shaq was just like terrible in this fucking movie.
Much to do. It's like.
Penny Hardaway
made no sense. I don't
know. Penny Hardaway had the legit scene where he's asking his like, Coach, I gotta quit. Like I can't do this.
No. The dumbest thing at that scene is there's no way his mom even lets him entertain that thought.
No fucking way. Fucking way.
I got a house, asshole. Go play basketball.
I got a house and a job. You're showing up. It's a dumb scene. It's a very dumb scene. But Penny Hardaway out-act Shaq in that one scene.
The problem with that scene is that it goes on for like 3 minutes
He
asked the same question like 5 times.
Well, Coach, I gotta know. And then he actually calls the guy like,
so stupid. Okay, all right. We're getting ahead of ourselves, I think. All right, so Blue Chips focuses on Nick Nolte, who's a college basketball coach, who has his first like losing season ever. and they come to the conclusion, right, that in order to stay competitive, they have to play ball, if you will. They've got to pay these players because the other big college teams are paying these players to join them, right? So that's the story in a nutshell, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So
and there's a weird tie-in with an ex-wife, and there's a
yeah. So Nick Nolte, who's playing by the rules the whole fucking he's tempted to he sees these blue chips, right? That's what they're called, like these high recruits, blue chip athletes, 5-star athletes, blue chip athletes. They're the best athletes that you can get, right? And he's got a bead on 3 of them. One of them is Penny Hardaway, who we mentioned. He's like a point guard or shooting guard or whatever, out of point guard, I think, from Chicago. You got the white boy, the shooter, Ricky Rowe from French Lick, Indiana, and Larry Bird just happens to be in French Lick, Indiana at the time. He just hangs around there. He's got nothing better to do.
Well, that's where he's from.
He's from there, but I don't think he fucking lives there.
No, he might still have a farm there. It wouldn't shock me if Larry still had it.
Isn't it amazing how haggard he looked? Considering I don't think he was that old at the time.
No, but he was going through back shit at that point. Like he was going through tons of back surgery, and he was probably pepped up on fucking pain pills at that. He was. But by the end of his career, though, he was just his back was fucking gone.
Laying on the court.
I mean, during the '92 Olympics, they literally rolled him out in a fucking wheelchair and put him at the 3-point line. It's just Larry, just stay here, and we'll kick you the ball out.
He still hit that jumper.
He did, all the fucking time.
It wasn't much of a jumper at that point.
No, there was no jumping in the jumper, but he still hit it.
Still hit it.
And then they have Shaquille O'Neal down in
Louisiana.
Where in Louisiana? Algiers.
Which apparently has roads, but you have to take a boat, walk through a jungle and some train tracks to get to the secret Fight Club basketball game that Slick told you about at a bar randomly.
I like the allusion to like the Muhammad Ali, with the kids going through town to watch the fight. It was the same thing as watching the video of Ali. Getting ready for the Rumble in the Jungle fight.
What else it kind of felt like? It felt like the scene in Rocky where Nolte's running and they're running behind him, and they're like, in my head, all I'm hearing the music getting stronger. I was like, fuck this movie.
my wife's watching the movie with me, and when it gets to Larry Bird, she's like, wait, that wasn't Randy Quaid? Oh. Well, it took a couple years ago before my wife realized that Larry Bird was actually a white guy. So,
yeah.
Not a big sports fan.
No. Not basketball. So Nick Nolte, actually a pretty good performance. Actually, it holds up. It holds up as a fun performance.
Definitely.
Nick Nolte does a good job in this. So he gets tempted to pay these guys off. So what is it? Penny Hardaway's mom wants a fucking job, like a job and a house, a full house. They probably spent the most, right? Because I mean, house in Chicago. House in Chicago.
That tractor looked like it cost a few dollars.
Tractor cost a few dollars, and then $30,000 on top of that. But a fucking house.
$30,000 in a bag, whatever.
House in '94 though. House in '94. You probably
Chicago, outside Chicago suburb maybe.
Probably got a pretty good deal on that.
Yeah.
And then Shaq. What did they send him? A fucking Mercedes or
Lexus?
Yeah, something. I think it was Mercedes. He's like BMW, right? Maybe. I don't know.
I thought it was a Lexus.
I don't want
it
this.
It might have been a Lexus because they mentioned it at the end.
Right.
Oh no, Cadillac.
It's Cadillac. So, it was some bullshit. And at this time, while these fucking payoffs are going off, Ed O'Neill just happens to have a photographer waiting outside everyone's house, just waiting for these payoffs to happen at the exact moment. We'll get into that in a minute. So these payoffs happen, and then Nick Nolte has this fucking superstar team. It's unstoppable at this point. The blue chips are there, but he's got to deal with the moral dilemma of cheating, and that's the story in a nutshell, right? I mean, it goes.
It's the Rush story in a nutshell.
Yeah,
he goes from cheating to hating himself again in I think 15 minutes of this movie.
Well, his ex-wife does call him out on it. Yeah.
Not even really.
She
It was
does.
the,
No, she does.
Well, he hated it the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah, but like once
It
you
was
do it,
finding out that his other player shaved
yeah,
points. That's what
Tony.
broke him. Tony.
the other plot point of this movie. This
very-
movie was not big on plot, I would say.
No.
Oh, it just kind of rolled.
Can we talk about the director for a second?
Sure, good.
William Friedkin.
Oh yeah. Wow.
The craziest career I've ever seen in my
William
life.
Friedkin directed this? No, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
The Exorcist, William
directed
Friedkin?
this movie. Yes.
No.
French Connection, Exorcist, Oscar-winning director, directed Blue Chips.
Get the
I'm
fuck out of
serious. I
here.
think they thought this was going to be a hit.
Wow.
They spent,
Well,
he
you
spent
gotta-
$35 million on this movie.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Nolte spent a year shadowing Bobby Knight
Yeah.
in preparation for this. But this movie fascinates me in that it's so caught up in trying to be a basketball movie. Like it shows like multiple practices. It shows other coaches giving pep talks that do nothing for the plot. It's so focused on getting the basketball right that it forgoes the movie, basically.
Yeah.
The final, the whole big game at the end, they shot 2 actual games and just had those 2 teams play each other. There's, like you said, Rick Pitino's in this, Jim Boeheim. There are so many former coaches. All the extras are former or current basketball players.
Yeah, like Bobby Hurley was in it, right? Yeah.
Chris Mills. It's a who's who of 90s, average basketball players.
Right.
Penny Hardaway wasn't anybody yet.
No.
He wasn't drafted yet.
Not yet.
This is before he was drafted.
Are you sure?
Nah, because
he read up because Shaq.
Oh, because that's it, and that's why Shaq forced Orlando to trade the Weber pick for Hardaway. That's right.
Why do you cast Penny Hardaway in this movie? He wasn't anybody yet.
Because he can act. Because he can act better than Shaq. That's why.
Wasn't he the number 1 pick that year?
He was the number 1 pick after.
Well, they flopped. Well, no, didn't they flip? Didn't they flip the picks?
Yeah, Chris Webber went 1, but Shaq won Penny, so they
so they flipped. I think Orlando had the number 1 pick.
Yeah. You look back at this movie thinking that they had Shaq and Penny on the Magic and they were famous and they decided to make a movie, but this was before that actually happened.
That's funny.
The kid who played Ricky Rowe, we mentioned, was an Indiana basketball player. He wasn't an actor. So it was just so weird.
He definitely wasn't an actor. He was fucking terrible. He was the worst part.
Bob Cousy is the athletic director.
Shoot fucking free throws.
He was like, "Did you ever miss?"
Non-stop.
I don't know what the point. Why he? All his assistant coaches, I think, were ex-players.
Yeah.
Marquise Johnson and.
You got to remember, it's '90s authenticity.
But he was so focused on getting the basketball right
that they didn't actually have a fucking movie.
Yeah,
the coaching wasn't right either, though. Like if you listen to directions,
they real plays, and they would
that part of it looked legit.
They would show him studying film, and it was fine, but it added nothing to the plot.
Like when Nolte's coaching in the game, it's kind of just like, all right, you give it to him, and we're gonna turn around, you're gonna give it back to him, and then we're just gonna run that, okay? And
they
then
would also go to Bobby Knight's huddle 3 or 4 times during the movie,
and Patino had a huddle,
Patino had like 5 or 6 lines at the start of the movie, and there was no reason for any of it, just to show that it was a real basketball movie.
You gotta remember though, in that early '90s, all the basketball movies had a shitload of basketball in the movie.
Yeah, but there were also.
Compare this to Hoosiers though. I mean, Hoosiers had a fucking plot.
Yeah, even White Man Can't Jump had a plot.
White Man had exactly.
Above the rim.
The plot was just as it went, really.
He got game.
Yeah.
That's much later.
Well, that's Nick. There he is.
Oh,
he's back. Nick's back.
Nick's on Jameel Cam today.
That's racist.
You said it.
But I mean, there are also good actors in it too. Nick Nolte's great. J.T. Walsh played the sleazy booster character.
He's always playing a sleazy guy. You got Arliss, Robert Wolf.
Arliss, yeah, it
was fun.
Just in 1 2-minute scene, but he was perfect for it.
And Penny's mom, that was
she's so good. Such a good actress.
Alfre Woodard, right?
Alfre Woodard, such a good actress. Yeah.
So there were good actors in it as well. I'm not going to say it's all hack basketball.
And it's it's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. And I saw this movie in the theaters. I went to go see it in movies. I mean, come on.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's been on for a while.
Well, when did it actually release? Like, not the year, but the date.
It was early '94. Yeah, it was very early '94. Yeah.
So this was right before the draft.
Yeah, like I'm saying.
Before the draft.
It's crazy because in my
I
memory,
mean, Penny might have been in the league, but he might have been. They might have shot it before.
They shot it before he was. Yeah.
Well,
because Shaq was drafted in '92. That means Penny was probably drafted in '93.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was February '94.
Mm-hmm.
Came out.
Yeah. So they probably filmed it
so
before
then
Penny was drafted.
While they were together.
No, I think they filmed it before Penny got drafted.
Yeah, they would have had to film it. In
I think Marty's right. I think like Shaq pushed Orlando to draft Penny because originally Orlando wanted to draft Weber and have Weber and Shaq together.
That would have been actually crazy.
That would have been insane. Where did he get? Weber got drafted by Golden State, right?
Golden State.
Yeah, they was there for a little while.
And then he went to the Bullets. He was playing for the Bullets for a while.
Penny was in the '93 draft.
Yeah, so they probably shot this movie.
But that's what I'm saying. When the movie comes out, we're already watching Shaq and Penny together.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
that's how come our memory goes that way.
Yeah, it should have worked marketing wise, but I don't. This movie only made $23 million.
Yeah, wow.
And it was panned pretty hard. I saw some of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. It was like 37% or something.
How ripped was Shaq though? Look at the picture of him on the poster right there.
He was pretty skinny too.
Skinny dude, but like all muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a real big guy until the Lakers almost.
Yeah, he bulked up. He went on the Magic Johnson diet at that point.
Oh, the cocktail?
The cocktail.
Oh, wrong diet.
he bulked up. I remember seeing Shaq in his final season playing for the Celtics, and it was a New Year's Eve game in Boston. They were playing the Hornets at the time when they were down in New Orleans, and Chris Paul was still on that team. And I was still excited to see Shaq. I mean, because I'd never seen Shaq play before. Like, that was my first time seeing Shaq play. And so, I was excited to see him. Oh, no. Second time seeing Shaq. Because I saw Shaq, disregard. I saw Shaq playing for the Heat in a playoff game against the Nets one year. So I remember seeing Wade and Shaq together playing. But I was still excited to see Shaq. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Shaquille O'Neal.
He's always been Shaq.
And plus, Shaquille O'Neal playing for the Celtics? Come on. That should have happened.
In the year that movie happened, I believe Shaquille O'Neal was prepping his verse on the Foo Schnickers, What's Up, Doc?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Shaq was a star. I think that's what it was with this film, though, because we forget that time period when Shaq pops up in the league and then he blows up until right when he gets to LA. Shaq is becoming the biggest person on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Penny was huge too.
They were going for the ride together. That was a fun time.
And the reason that Shaq left Orlando to move to LA wasn't just because of the Lakers. It's because he wanted to be the Hollywood guy. He wanted to be close to Hollywood. He wanted to be that big star. It wasn't, he like in Orlando, like.
Oddly enough, though, this might be his best movie.
No. Shazam is a classic.
Oh, get out of here with it.
No, Steel was horrible.
I mean, after this, everything he did was,
Well, no. Wait. So. Freddie got fingered. Sorry. Mic drop. Mic drop.
He was a Good Burger also.
Freddie got fingered. Shaq's best movie.
This is the closest he got to being able to play Shaq without having to call himself Shaq in the movie. So it worked out the best.
And Kobe still has an Oscar and Shaq doesn't.
Kazam, Real Steel. He's in this new movie coming out. Have you seen the trailer for this one, Dan? Uncle Drew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
the old NBA players.
Yeah, he plays like the kung fu kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies, so it's not helping anybody.
As a Celtics fan, it's kind of hard to root for Kyrie Irving. By the way, I mean,
Shaq's a fun guy.
When Blue Chips, Kazam, Steel. Then he never really did another real movie.
Well, because then he started winning championships.
Yeah.
Phil was probably like, all right, stop this shit. And then
Phil was not stopping Shaq. Like, honestly, Phil was not stopping Shaq.
The 3P started in 2001, and all he did was like little bit roles by then.
I mean, because he wasn't getting fucking shit offers. I mean, after fucking Steel, like, he was not getting offers anymore. You can't say that he was focusing on basketball. I would actually argue that at that time, he was less of a basketball player than he was prior. As dominant as he was when he was on the Lakers, he was as dominant as he was still
That was
slacking.
the most dominant iteration of him.
He was a slacker at that point. I
Yeah.
shit you not. The dude should have been averaging 50 points a game. He should have been a 50-30 player. There's no one that should have stopped him at that time.
Nobody was stopping him at the time.
Steele made 1.7 million.
Points.
Steele made 1.7 million. Yeah.
Hey, I think Blue Chips lost money.
It did.
Oh,
It
yeah,
lost
Blue
like
Chips lost like
15 million or
10
something.
million or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All his movies lost money.
Well, that's because they probably paid all those players a shitload of money to be in the movie.
Not really,
No,
because
I
none
don't
of those
think
guys
so.
are anybody.
No.
They'd be like, "Hey, you want to do a movie? Oh, sure."
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like Larry Bird was in Space Jam,
Like, you
right?
might have had to pay the coaches a little bit, but you didn't have to. I don't think you had to pay Danny Hurley much to show up for a movie back then.
It was Bobby Hurley, right?
Bobby Hurley. I'm
Bobby
sorry.
Hurley.
That
Yeah,
was
I even
also the
noticed.
funny thing about this movie. You know, Nick Nolte's character coaches at Western, which is UCLA.
Yeah.
Everyone else is at West, West State or Texas Eastern or some shit, and they play in the NCSA, not the NCAA. But somehow Indiana gets to put all its branding.
Sure.
In this
Why
movie.
not? Why not?
That's because that was probably the agreement to have Bob Knight in the movie. It was like, no, we're the school in the movie. Yeah.
That was just the funniest thing. It's like, oh yeah, but Indiana's real in this world.
Yeah, it's funny because they play the whole in a way like the Notre Dame thing, right? Because Notre Dame's big fucking thing is it's like, well, we can never get the top athletes because our criteria is too hard, right? Like we have to have high SATs. You got to have good GPAs. Like that's been the big kind of marching line for Notre Dame for a while, up until the last few years. I think they've pulled back the reins on some of that, and so they played into some of that. And then it's like Shaquille O'Neal's like, he's got a 520 on the SATs. We just need to get him 700.
Only because it was culturally biased.
Only got to get him 700.
Kevin Garnett was in this movie.
Was he?
As a cameo, they say.
I mean, there were so many
cameos.
There were so many players. Like I said, all the players on the teams were real players. So they could have just thrown him on one of the other school teams.
Nah, he would have been in high school. Garnett was a rookie in '96. This movie was filmed in '93, and he came straight to the league from high school. He'd been like 13, 14.
He kind of did like the one extra year before.
He definitely, he still looked like he would have been in college. It wasn't been that hard to.
Maybe,
I think he did not like a junior college, but he went to like some kind of academy. He went to like a 5th year of high school, if you will. Like he graduated high school, then did another year. So he was probably probably when they filmed this '93. Yeah, he's probably like a junior at the time or something. Yeah.
Allen Houston was on the Coast team.
Really?
Coast,
wow.
Yeah.
Allen Houston. As a Knicks fan, you must
Rodney Rogers.
He's still getting that Dolan money.
Matt Painter was on that team. Calvert Chaney, of course. Calvert Chaney actually did go to Indiana. He was on Indiana. Bobby Hurley, like you said. Jamal Meeks was on the Indiana team. Eric Riley.
Rick Fox was there.
Rick Fox was on the Texas Western team.
Wow.
George Lynch was on that team. Chris Mills, Rex Walters was on that team.
So they legit played basketball. I was a huge Rodney Rogers fan too, because back in the day I watched Wake Forest, and because he went to Wake Forest and then he played for the Nets.
I love that they didn't bother to name
Nuggets.
Ed O'Neill. His name was Ed.
Can we talk about Ed O'Neill? Can we talk about Ed O'Neill?
The greatest reporter in the history of reporting.
Amazing.
Jim Caviezel was in this movie. He was an uncredited basketball player. Kevin Garnett was one. I didn't notice him. He's one of the Dolphin players.
Oh. I gotta rewatch this now. I gotta rewatch this. It's by the way, people. It's if you have Showtime, go watch it for free. We don't have to pay for this fucking thing.
It's on Showtime and the movie channel, so whatever you got.
And on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
For free? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on someone's TV screen in the background?
No. I think it's slightly sped up so they don't get DRM.
Wow. There's a lot of people in it then. Because they were legit playing basketball games, though.
I think they just, like I said, they shot them playing basketball, and they worked in kind of some plot that they needed in the games, but not much. They just had to do the score and the final shot for a few of them. So I said, like I said, they ran practices in this movie for no reason. They would just show them doing shots.
You know what's ridiculous when Shaq, Penny, and the other guy, they're practicing. Not when they're like working out with the team, they're all in street clothes.
Yeah.
And then when the white guy signs the contract to go to the school, he's wearing the whole Western outfit. Like you couldn't give him shorts. You want him playing with the team? You could
how big an asshole
and shit.
I understand, like, this is all, like, I mean, this is all done as part of the program. Like, kids get played, whatever. But you don't fucking walk into the coach's room and say, I want $30,000. There are ways around those things that's how that shit works. That's
No. But you got to remember, he's a white blue chip athlete.
Yeah, white blue chip athlete
that
like
was
myself
like
deserves
myself.
election.
Apparently, white ones are worth more.
And then, like, the coach would never call the guy to, that's the silly part of this movie where it's like there would never be this direct as to everyone gets paid somehow one way or the other in most of these big school scenarios, but it's always a wink and a nod under the table type shit. It's never big decision from the. That's why Rick Pitino can get fired for all the shit and still kind of claim deniability, because I'm sure he never did say, all right, pay this kid this much money, but he looked the other way while it happened. That's essentially.
Oh yeah, that's kind
of. I also like the fact that Shaq's like, I didn't want this car, but he wanted his $100. He wanted $100.
The man of principle. That's what it was.
I don't think any part of Shaq's presence on this team was legal.
No.
I think he played junior college. He played European ball somewhere, or Mexico ball. Mm-hmm. I think that's I think he lost all
right there. Yeah. Let's fast forward to the end too. Right after the shit goes down, they all leave college and just join the NBA. Except for the white dude who blows out his knee and has to go work at the fucking farm.
No, you know what I love even worse than that the white guy doesn't get to win is that at the end during the final fucking during the press conference, all the friends of the program, all these evil looking white guys in the corner just like you think we gave him a car? Like, what the fuck am I watching? I forgot how ridiculous the 90s are.
Yeah.
Like Robert Kraft, I think, was the teacher.
So it all falls apart because of Ed O'Neill's journalism skills, right?
But not even that. It comes apart because he admitted it. Even like the guy Happy, who's the the JT character talked about, said, "Hey, my money's untraceable. None of this is provable. I'm never going to say I did this, so they can say whatever they want." There's always allegations with these things, but they're never going to prove anything. So, but Nick Nolte just has his moment of conscience, I guess, and has to admit it all with his racist diatribe at the end.
See, but that's the thing. Is like Ed O'Neill had those fucking pictures, though. He had pictures of the dude getting in a new tractor. He had pictures of the mom getting a house. I mean,
but there was never going to be any way to prove that, the coach knew any of that stuff.
But how did they get all those pictures? Like, they literally just took the movie didn't even try to fake it. They took screen caps from the actual movie. It was like, and they put it on the computer in '94. You know how hard it is to get a fucking picture on a computer?
It's as hard as it was for Abe to get porn on his fucking floppy disk. Seriously.
This guy has the greatest drone ever, just taking random pictures and in the middle of a field.
They should have explained that by saying he's got a connection with the FBI or something.
You know what it is? I'm gonna make an unforeseen connection. It was Slick. Because somehow Slick knew about Shaq. Somehow Slick just randomly pops up at the bar I was waiting.
Slick wouldn't do that to Nick Nolte.
Slick was just a guy named Slick. He had all the inside dirt.
And they even gave him the Slick hair.
His name was Slick.
I love Ed O'Neill's assistant, I guess, writer or whatever it was, is the best looking sports reporter you've ever seen in your life.
That's out in L.A.
Also, too, they win the big game, of course, at the end, and then they go to the press conference. Everyone's applauding him for some reason. Even the reporters are all standing and clapping.
One game.
As Nick Nolte comes in because they won the first game of the season.
Oh, they beat the top-ranked team.
Top-ranked Indiana, even though that wasn't the case back then. There was no sense of timing even in this movie. The movie starts, they lose the last game of the last season, which was a great way to start the movie actually, because Nick Nolte's coming in cursing and screaming is just peak Nolte. But then the next day they start recruiting, and they show the kids playing high school ball, even though that would have been over already. And then they bring the kids to campus. They go to one class where the guy's teaching Shakespeare or something. And then the season starts. So it's there was no passage of time. There was no.
They signed their school contract, and the next scene is Shaq in school.
Yeah, it's
okay. But that what is that's a testament to '90s movie pacing. Remember when I'll tell you about X-Men, how fast it moves, the original X-Men compared to how movies move now. They weren't expecting to get a whole hour and 59 minutes out of this shit. So they kind of just rushed through it. Because the only thing that mattered to them was, like y'all said, the basketball. It's just like, let's hurry up and get to the basketball because all this other shit is falling apart.
I can't believe fucking William Friedkin directed this. It's fucking nuts.
It's crazy. I'm telling you.
That's goddamn nuts.
His career is hilarious. Let me run this off you. Like we said, did the fucking
French Connection.
French Connection and Exorcist back to back.
Yep.
71 and 73. Both. He won the Oscar for French Connection, nominated for Exorcist. Deal of the Century in 83. He directed some Twilight Zones episodes. To Live and Die in LA in 85 he did. Rampage in 87. Then he directed a Tales of the Crypt episode in 92. Blue Chips in 94. 12 Angry Men, the TV movie on Showtime. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's hilarious. It has Tony Danza in it. And Jack Lemmon plays the other guy. So, I mean, I don't know what happened to him.
That Rampage movie, too, is a very unrecognized gem of a film.
Yeah, he was doing like such...
It's a good movie.
He was doing amazing stuff, and then he must have been like a secret basketball like junkie or something.
He gets to work with fucking Larry Bird and Bob Cousy. Fuck it. Go on, right?
Bob Cousy was actually probably the better actor, one of the best actors.
Bob Cousy was great.
Like, if you didn't know who Bob, if you
didn't know, you just think he was the only good actor in the whole movie. Like literally, like I was like, oh, man, this guy trained real good at these free throws.
And this movie is written by Ron Shelton, who wrote Bull Durham, White Man Can't Jump, The Great White Hype, Cobb.
You know what it is about this movie? It doesn't have personality.
No, none.
It just has a bunch of shit happening that kind of goes with each other, and we just go, okay, this works. It's like the only and then you try to get the personality from Nick Nolte's character, who sometimes I feel like he was hamming it up a little bit, but like,
well, isn't that Nolte's fucking thing?
Yeah,
I guess. I mean,
no one gets a full backstory. No one gets a full motivation.
Nothing. You just kind of
most of their backstories are thrown in like side comments. It's not even.
Yeah. Like I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck Slick is. I'm sorry. Like Slick is a friend of the program. I'm telling you, he was the key to all of it. Like I want to know more about the investigation than the actual. Like they should do a prequel, or like a movie about Ed O'Neill's character, the reporter that brought it all down. Like I want to know how he got all this. He had to pay somebody to get these pictures or whatever. Like that was the most interesting thing that wasn't even developed. It was just like a thing that had to exist so he could have to have a reason to tell on himself. And the thing is, he didn't even know he was after him when he told on himself.
No.
So it was
Mary Mcdonald plays the ex-wife, and it seems like they still spend all their time together. So.
Oh, you mean that crazy bitch?
Yeah, Shaq calls her a bitch, and they laugh about it. It's kind of a weird scene.
He needs a kick in the pants. Oh, now I see why you left that crazy bitch. I'm like, okay, cool. Sure, Shaq.
Shaq, who also fought in Desert Storm in this movie. But no one knew about him. He's never been coached. He was just an army soldier.
Remember, he
played in Europe. He played in Mexico.
8 inches, and he was too big for the army.
Well, he's a big target at that point. Honestly, you don't want him out in the battlefield. It's like, oh man, he's a fucking target.
And he's playing basketball in an unlit court in the middle of Louisiana with like a wooden backboard.
And it's like he's completely raw, and they showed none of that.
Like,
have you guys seen basketball play? Speaking of like blue chips, Duke. Thankfully, they're out of the fucking tournament. But Duke has the top 3 high school recruits next season, and the number 3 ranked is this kid Zion Williamson. You seen this fucking kid play? It's ridiculous. YouTube, go to YouTube, check out this kid Zion Williamson. Fucking kid's a beast, just insanely fucking crazy, like throwing down these dunks and swatting the hell out of these. They all look like they're fucking 5'6" kids, because I think he's only like 6'6", 6'7". But like when you're talking about like raw talent, you look at this kid play, it's like, oh my, that's what they're talking about in this movie. But with Shaq, it's just like, nope. Like they have one scene where it's like, okay, here's your spin move that you got to do, That's it.
Yeah, like he had post moves. He knew how to. Totally raw, never been coached means I'm just a big giant kid who doesn't know how to dribble or look at a bet, you know.
But he's dribbling the ball down the court. He's, you know,
he was running. He could dribble. He was spinning.
They were excited that he only got 13 rebounds. I found that. I was like, that's a ridiculously low number for them to be like.
Did you see 13. The movie The Air Up There?
Nuba. I went to
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
like that was never been coached raw talent. He went to this African village and no one knew what basketball was. And somehow I forget who they beat in the end. The other village or whatever. I don't know.
Wasn't that guy actually? That wasn't who was the guy in that movie? Not Kevin Bacon, the African guy.
We should have done that movie too, because that's like I swear they decide some kind of village war thing over a basketball game.
The 90s were ridiculous.
If there's nothing going on in June, right around the NBA Finals time, we'll fucking talk about Air Up There. Yeah.
So yeah, too, and they also give. I love when they do this epilogues to fake characters. Yeah, there's always a thing. Like, oh, Shaq and Penny went up in the NBA.
White dudes who working on the farm. Yeah.
The other guy, Tony, who
he passed TV. Did not impregnate his girlfriend.
He, he made a few bad passes in a game, so that proved he was shaving points. Apparently, I don't know. It's just
they watched that video so intensely. That scene was so intense.
Why they needed that kind of dramatic moment for that kind of ancillary point? They still let him play in the game. He didn't get kicked off the team. It was just
no.
I did it once. I did it once. Just once.
We won the game. What does it matter? It's like, come on. Tony's character was another. Like it just. This movie was full of like everything.
It's all caricatures. There's no actual characters. They're all just like this.
He wasn't an actor either. He was a guy, I read up on him, who was like, he would hang around the Hollywood basketball courts and he friended like Denzel and a couple of guys. And so they must have just, mentioned that and they threw him in his movie. And he's played in like 5 or 6 other basketball movies.
Like, by the way, I got a friend.
Yeah. And he wasn't bad either, really. Anthony C. Hall.
Better,
he was in,
better than Shaq.
He was in Virtuosity. He was in Sunset Park as a basketball player. He was in Forget Me as a basketball player. Gang related, they probably had a basketball scene. He was in something called Players Ball. I'm assuming he was playing basketball in that movie.
Players Ball?
Yeah.
The one with Bill Bellamy?
Sounds about right.
No, but MC Light was in it, so I'm sure it was garbage.
Okay.
But there is basketball on the cover of the movie poster. So
what's the best basketball play? What's the best basketball movie? Is it Hoosiers? Is that the consensus that Hoosiers is the best basketball movie?
I don't know. If you're talking about this got the basketball better in this movie than almost any other sports movie has ever gotten its sport right.
Well, because that's the only thing
it's got the basketball right.
Yeah, as far as the technical.
But I can watch a fucking basketball game and say that basketball got right.
As far as watching a sports movie and getting everything technically right in a movie, this got it perfect.
Okay.
But this wasn't even the best basketball movie of '94. Above the Rim came out in '94. I'd argue Above the Rim is a much better movie.
What do we say? What is it? I mean, Hoosiers is up there. He got game.
He got game. No.
Very good. Really, I think He Got Game is really good. But I would probably say White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah, White Man Can't Jump, I think, is my favorite basketball.
I think it's probably my favorite.
But I also liked Glory Road is pretty good. If you ever catch that one. It's about the first first team to ever start 5 back players in Texas.
I mean, The Sixth Man is a classic.
Sixth Man, you got Space Jam. Right.
I hate that movie.
God, it's fucking Space Jam. What is there a basketball story that we want to see? Like, is there like a known kind of like basketball story that we'd want to see?
The problem is
Carter was good.
Coach Carter, I did like. Wasn't that a true story?
It's probably a true story.
Yeah, based on of course.
Yeah, close enough.
Basketball, semi-pro.
No,
semi-pro is fun. Yeah.
I would watch a Len Bias movie.
Len Bias or
that's a good one.
You know what is this?
Drazen Petrovic.
Yeah, there's so many great documentaries that you almost don't need the movie.
No, I agree.
And when the player's that good, their life kind of like like LeBron James would make a good movie, I assume. But he's been crowned since he was 16.
I'd rather see like a Bill Russell one dealing with like all the racism and stuff like
Nah, I don't
that.
want to see that. I don't want to see that. I'm done.
There was a movie called Rebound. There was an HBO movie called Rebound. Yeah.
Oh, that was great. Earl
Really
the Gold Man Gold, starring Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
That might be the best basketball movie.
That was really good.
That movie was really good.
Depressing as fuck.
Yeah.
Like he was the greatest, New York street basketball player. Get hooked on heroin. Just
he's a real person.
Yeah.
Which makes me think the unbiased one would be
the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Come on now. Oh, Dan, right up there. Dan, here you forgot one. Come on.
You know what I was
Celtic Pride.
Celtic Pride.
Celtic Pride.
I like Celtic Pride.
It's a fun movie. No, Celtic Pride's a fun movie. Yeah.
There are a lot of fun basketball movies.
A good basketball movie, an adaptation of the I Hate Christian Laettner 30 for 30, make a real fun movie. Like, you can't make it too serious, but it would make a real fun movie.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I hate Christian Laettner. Look, honestly.
That was a great
that dude.
So, I mean, or I would just like to see a dramatic reenactment of Magic and Isaiah crying about 92. That was great.
There's been a lot of good Magic and Larry documentaries. They tried to do it on Broadway, and that failed pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
The 92 Olympic team documentary has been really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many good documentaries you almost don't want to watch. Like Sunset Park was good.
Are we counting Teen Wolf as a basketball movie?
Oh, probably. Yeah, that would be up there. Yeah.
They sell his jersey. So.
Like Mike. There you go.
Air Bud.
Air Bud. Yeah, I think it's this Hoosiers. I really like Rebound. White Man Can't Jump, I think, is probably the best.
Remember?
That game was a little too Spike Lee for me. It's just too much up its own ass at points.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, Love and Basketball was great.
Love and Basketball. But like I said, the best one's been documentaries. Hoop Dreams was really good.
Hoop Dreams. That's the one I couldn't remember. I was trying to remember that.
Whoever's watching, let us know in the chat. What do you think the best basketball movie is? We're interested in seeing what you all think in the chat. Got anything else?
No, thank everybody who watched our
last week's
Pills show. That was really
still racking up views. Yeah,
that's our most watched show in a pretty long while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week we're gonna do Ready Player One. Nick is very excited. He's read the book.
Yep. Yes. I think Tally's joining us as well. So I think we'll have 4 people on next week.
We have some new people in the chat this week. Want to shout out?
I saw a lot of people.
Tone and Julio from
my guys.
Nick Squad.
The Nick Squad.
I'm funny, the new crew in the house today. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, my podcast co-host is Julio.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nick, do your plugs. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can check me out, TJ Squared Podcast. Also on Ifty Comedy, got some comedy up there, and I'm Mega Trinidad on the Twitters.
On the Twitterverse. Yeah.
You can check me and Dan out this Saturday at the Mets game.
That's right.
You're around.
We'll be at the Mets game. I thought you were gonna say on
the show as well.
Movies and Stuff show, Facebook, Twitter, right down there. Yeah, we'll be at the Mets game.
I would love to just hear stories of people just running into you guys at the Mets game. That would be great.
It would be.
Like, you guys have a signing booth, and it'll be like a whole bunch of people there. That'd be awesome.
Well, that's the funniest thing at like Marty's wedding. It's like, it's Marty's cousin or whatever. It's like, man, I really love your show. You guys have a great show. I'm like, oh, thanks. Appreciate that. It's really nice. Yeah, here's an autograph. So make sure to like, subscribe. Definitely comment on your favorite basketball movie. Let us know what you think about Blue Chips. Shaq's best performance, Shaq's worst performance. What you want to see Shaquille O'Neal do. All these things, just comment below.
Other than Trader General commercials and gold-bound powder.
Ooh. Wait. Shaq Fu is coming back. There's a new version of Shaq Fu coming to the Nintendo Switch this year.
Look at that. But yeah, as Marty mentioned, we'll be back next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. What are we? Eastern Daylight Savings?
Eastern Standard, I believe.
This is Standard.
EST,
whatever. We're Eastern Time. Talk Ready Player One. Nick will be on. Talia will be on, as we mentioned. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. Good night.